Hello, my name is Hannah, and today we are renovating a lot in Willow Creek called Parkshore. You can see it right now before I delete the entirety of the outside and all of its characteristics. Because when I renovate stuff, I typically just remove everything I don't like, which is most of it usually, and then keep maybe some of the outside's features and then call it a renovation when instead I'm just using the shell and calling it good. But today I thought I would keep most of the outside. The shape is about the same. I kept like the rounded like octagonal bit on the side, and it's still like long and like kind of like weirdly shaped, and it's still got all of the like the rounded balconies and stuff, but it's a little less green and more like white and brick, because I thought it fit more, and also it wasn't as weird looking. Because I feel like when you see like just the green house next to this big like black house next to me, I'm referring to the goth house that you can see right next to like on the left of this house. It's a big stark difference, but when you see like these like more like not contemporary but like more not green houses, you're like, okay, that fits a bit more with the goth house, because I wanted to keep the goth house in this neighborhood, and this house feels like it fits a bit more. So I thought it was really fun, and I think it looks a bit better in the end. But I also had a lot of fun decorating the inside, but also had a lot of difficulties with the freezes on the outside, because those were annoying, because I don't ever work with those. But I think I figured it out. Maybe. But today I was going to talk about my obsession with animals, and this obsession has been like, I've loved animals since I was probably an infant. I have like always like been attracted to like animals, not that weird attracted way, you weirdos. But like, so like when I was like, I think like probably like 6 to 12 ish, I would do like these like summer camps at like the zoo. I think it's called like zoo camp. I don't really remember, but yeah, it took 6 years. I still don't remember what they called it. But you know that makes sense. But I would go to these zoo camp things, and I got like obsessed with any kind of like animal stuff. My room until the age of like 12 was animal themed, just random animals. It was mostly like safari animals, like zebras, lions, and stuff, but that wasn't my choice. I was born into the room like looking like that, so I wasn't really having a choice before I could speak. But it still fit me pretty well because I did love animals. But during this like zoo camp, I got to like experience all of these animals that just were at the zoo. So I spent quite a lot of my childhood at the zoo. So like every day for weeks on end during the summer, because they would have like week-long summer camps, and I would go to like 8 to 12 of them per summer, and it was pretty fun. But like at these summer camps, you'd go to like different like they were like themed, like kind of like summer camp, and you'd get into a group of like 12, I think 12 to 14 people that were about your age, and you just do fun things that I think I did like a nursing, like not nursing, veterinary things, different. But like veterinary, there was like specific like reptile camps or like just random ones, and I think I took almost all of them. But I started at like 6, so there were some like ones for like 3 to 4 year olds that I didn't take, but I don't think I needed to know that much about like some of the things that they would have learned about, because they're learning like basic stuff. I was learning how to thread a needle into a cheetah, which is, I guess, fairly important information if you were going into veterinary for like animals that were in a zoo. But I don't know if I entirely remember how to do that anymore. We did like, I don't know, it was like a practice, but they gave us this like plastic like sheet, and it had like holes in it. We were trying to like thread yarn through it as like a stitching thing, and that's about all I remember from that. But we would go walking around the zoo, and the zoo at that time was kind of small. It's gotten bigger. It's definitely gotten a bunch of like growths. What are they called? It's gotten bigger. I don't know what the word is currently, but it's gotten bigger since then. But at that time, it was fairly small. I could probably tell you like all of the animals that were in the zoo, and I really liked going to the zoo because it's in my town. It's not that far away. It's probably like 20 minutes from my house, probably. I don't really know time. I don't really pay attention how long I'm in the car for. I just go and be happy. But there was this one place, and it was just like a house, not a house, like that's what it was called. It was a house cut thing, and it had like a bunch of like lizards, like reptiles, amphibians, spiders, and stuff, those kind of like animals and stuff. And it was just a bunch of those, and it was really fun because I grew up around those things, and so I no longer am, well, I've never been, I was never afraid of like holding a spider or holding a cockroach, which I have done all of. Madagascar hissing cockroaches, I have held 7 of them at one time, and I'm not scared of them in the slightest bit. If I find one in my house, that might be a different story, but I don't think I'd find one of those. I'd find like a normal one, and so that'd be different. But if I just would, like, if they were like, do you want to hold this? I'd be like, yes, please give me this animal that you just randomly walked over to me and asked me to hold. I would definitely do that. And then there would be a bunch of, like, there's a tegu. That one was really fun. It was named Skittles, which had nothing to do, because it was a, I don't know what kind of tegu it was. I don't remember at this point. But it didn't look like Skittles, and it was like brown, so no clue. I guess it was more like grayish blue. Still nothing related to Skittles, but we all thought the name was really fun. And then there was a bunch of like skinks. There was a legless lizard. There were some like tomato frogs, I think they were called. They were bright red. That's why they were called tomato frogs. I'm pretty positive. It'd be weird if it was a different reason. But there's a bunch of like frogs and stuff, and then there was bugs, spiders. There were flying squirrels that we got partway through. Those were really fun, because like the manager of that area really loved these like flying squirrels, so she always had them out, and they were like kind of like attached to her at all times. It was really fun, and they always had like animals like sitting out on the floor, just like on, like, did they just put like the snake out on the floor with one of the like volunteers for the zoo, and just like, okay, sit here, if the kids want to touch it, let them touch it, because it was like a petting zoo for snakes and like lizards and stuff. But it was really fun, just like being able to like surround myself with that. And now I've never been scared of snakes or spiders or any of that stuff, and I'd probably credit that to that. Just, I could walk up as a 4-year-old and be like, ooh, a snake, and touch it. But I guess there were people that would come in and be like, oh my god, a snake. But those people were like, the children were never afraid of the snakes. So when I got like a little bit older, like 9, 10, they would be like, okay, kid, go sit on the floor with the legless lizard, which it's a lizard, not a snake. Thank you. And people would be like, oh my god, a snake. And I'm like, it's a lizard. Because I was that kid. I was that kid. Yeah, not proud, but I was. But it was really fun to just like have the creature that I could just like interact with, and then the children would come, and then you could like tell them stuff about it, or like the people who are supposed to be watching you could tell them about it and then walk away. But that's what they did. Usually they would just probably just give you the thing and just kind of walk away, not to like the guests, but like to the kids who were like having summer camp there. They'd be like, here, have a snake, have a like a frog or something. It's just like, I just hold random creatures for 30 minutes while we were sitting there, because not all of the time we would be in there, but most of the time we would be in there, and it was pretty fun. And also we just like walk around the zoo, because like we had like a back area that was just dedicated to like the zoo kids. And so there were probably like 100 of us at one time, but it was still pretty fun, because I didn't have to interact with that many people. I could just interact with a random snake, or look at the baboon just trying to eat or whatever it was doing. It was never doing anything fun, but it was a really fun experience growing up to just like have these animals to just like see. But, we're getting to the end of the video, so it's almost screenshots time, so I post a new video every day of the week. Subscribe if you like the video, but I post a new video every day of the week, so you can watch another video tomorrow. Bye!